Welcome to my channel. I'm going to show you how to make an unusual candle holder using all Dollar Tree items. So let's go get started. To get started, you're going to take your unicorn frame and open it up so that you can get to that glass part inside. And we're going to be using a little straight edge razor here and scraping off the words inside. They come off really easily. Now, if you don't want to scrape off all of it, they won't completely all be showing, just this outer edge. But if you want to scrape all of it, that's fine too. It comes off pretty easily. Now, some people like to use acetone to remove this. That's fine too. I feel like this is just a cleaner way to do it, so you don't have all the acetone, not only the smell, but you then also don't have all that residue from that all over your glass. Do that to both of the frames, and then we're going to be working on one of the frames because we want to remove this glass that's in the front here, and the only way to do that is by removing one of these sides. Now, I've already gone ahead and done that, but I'm going to show you how I did it. I took again my straight edge razor here and I stuck it into the crease here. Now you can kind of wiggle around your box and see if there's one side that has any looser glue than any other. And if you find one that leaves you a little bit of an opening, you're going to just kind of pull it apart as much as you can. Get that razor right in the crack there and start working your way down as much as you can, and once it's stuck, you can take something, preferably a hammer. You know, my husband always gets mad at me using the wrong tool for the job. But anyway, what I did is I used these wire cutters and then just hammered it down in there, pressed it as far as I could, and did that on both of the edges until I was really able to kind of work it, and then eventually be able to pull off this one side. And at that point, the glass will just slide right out of there. Now, the reason we need the glass to come out of this is because we want to put it on the other side of this piece right here. So we have our two frames, one that's going to be disassembled and removing the glass, and we have the other one that still has the glass in on the one side. And we're going to be taking the glass and putting it glass from this one and putting it on here. So now we've created a completely enclosed shadow box here. Now we are going to need to glue this in place, so I'm going to just use a bit of my E6000, or if you have another type of glue, actually I'm going to be using this Gorilla Clear Grip, but any similar adhesive will work. It would be a good idea, if you'd like, to clean the glass right now before you do get everything all glued together. Most of this glass is going to be covered by your mirror square, but it is nice for the part that will be showing just to have it clean. So around that edge there. Once you're happy with how clean your glass is, you're going to go around on this inner little lip here and put some of your E6000 or similar adhesive. You're going to want to go kind of light on that because you don't want it to show through the glass, just enough that will hold this glass in place. It shouldn't take much at all. And drop it right in there, and we're off to a good start. Next, since we have to wait for this to dry anyway, we're going to glue our mirror squares on directly on. So you can see now that that's going to be covering a good portion of the glass, so it's really not that big of a deal that we got that glass clean, but it's just a little extra added touch. Actually, that's not next, because before we do that, you can see that on the side that we actually glued the glass in, you have a bit of that edge showing in there. What I'm going to be doing is using a little bit of bling wrap. I always have scraps of this from various projects, and I'm just going to be gluing that right on that inside edge there so that nothing shows. Kind of gives it just a little more of a finished look to it. I'm just going to be using a single strand and also using my Gorilla Glue for that as well. kind of measuring out how long of a piece I need so that I can cut that ahead and not have to lift and worry about repositioning and glue showing and all that stuff. I'm gonna just have tweezers help me a little bit to put this in place because I don't wanna try and get my fat fingers in there. Here's what that's gonna look like, and I'm gonna go around and do all 4 sides. You can do it on both sides if you'd like, but this side here is nicely painted, so it really doesn't need it. I'm just gonna do it on this back side. Okay, now we're gonna deal with our little mirrors here. I went ahead and heated these mirrors up with my hot tool so that I could easily remove the sticker and the little foam corner thingies that are on there. And what we're gonna be doing is gluing this down right onto the middle of our frame here. And again, I'm going to be using my Gorilla Clear Glue, Clear Grip, that stuff. You could actually, it would be wise to use just a little dot of hot glue in there because it's going to take some time for this to dry and it's going to be sliding around. So I'm actually going to throw a little dot of hot glue on there just to keep this from sliding while I'm working on the other side. This hot glue is going to dry really fast on there because it's cold, so make sure you work quickly if you use the hot glue at all. Then we're going to be doing the same thing and gluing the second mirror here onto the other side, just like we did here. Here's what it looks like, and we're just going to put this aside and let this dry really well. And preferably with this side up that we're waiting for the glass that we glued in to dry too, because we don't want that to fall out with the weight of the mirror. Well, what do you think so far? Kind of different and unusual, right? Well, if you like what you're seeing so far, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join our Glue Dot family. You can also follow me on social media by looking me up on Instagram at EP Midnight Crafter. I'm also on Pinterest and have a real great Facebook group that's called Midnight Crafter Glue Dots, where you can post your pictures, creativity, and ideas and see what other people are doing as well. If you'd like to enter to win a really cute little Bling owl keychain, I do that drawing the first of the month, and you will find that link right down below in the description box. So let's get right back to crafting and see how this thing turns out. Now we're going to be working with this piece here that is our frame that we took apart. We don't need this top piece, so we're just going to put that aside for this project. And we're going to be working with our little napkin rings and gluing those in place. So I'm using these little votives as a guide right now so I know where I want to glue my napkin ring on the bottom. I want these to line up directly, and the votive has that lip so it sticks out. So I'm just going to use that as a bit of a marker so I know where I want to glue my napkin ring. And then for the napkin ring, I'm going to be using my E6000 and then just a couple little dots of the hot glue to hold it in place while it's drying. I never overlap my hot glue on my E6000 because I don't know, but guys, I can't get it to stick when it does. So I don't know how other people do, but it doesn't work for me. So I always kind of leave a little space for my hot glue to go in. Then center the napkin ring on the base here so that it's not sticking off to either side. And then we're also going to be putting our other napkin ring, we're going to be gluing that up here on the top. So this is what it looks like. It kind of looks like a robot, like I'm putting a robot together or something. Now what we're going to do, also the same way we did when we put our frame together, we're going to add some of that bling wrap in here in this edge just to cover that up. It doesn't show necessarily on the one that's going to be on the top, but it will show on the side and the bottom one. So you can do all three of those inner sides if you want, or you can just do the side and bottom. It's up to you. Here's what that looks like all done. I ended up doing all three sides. If you'd like, you can also do this other space, entirely up to you as well. Now we're going to be putting our two pieces together. So you're not going to want to just do it like this because we do want to make sure that this is going to stand up properly. So it is good to stand this up and see where this lays the nicest and how it will stand. And I know you guys don't have a good angle on this from my camera view, but this is how you're going to figure out where you want to put it. Now you can try and center it, you can offset it. What I'm going to just do is put my E6000 and hot glue here on these edges and then figure out and then stick them together. So before you actually put your glue onto this piece, find out exactly, as I said, where you want to put this and then make some type of a marking so that you have a reference point so you're not trying to do it quickly and put the hot glue and do all that. So it will just make it a lot easier. Once you get your marks on, use your E6000 and your hot glue to attach your piece. And then it's going to really need to dry well. The last thing we're going to do is glue our little votive candles in place on top of their respective napkin rings. This is not something I'm going to be able to tilt and show you, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory. And for this, I'm going to be using my E6000, centering that and putting it in place, and we're going to let that dry.